All right, let's just do first things first. I'm just going to go ahead and run this. This is going to be a little bit messy tonight. All this stuff's coming in late, and many people are not even reporting on it at all. I think there's a certain amount of fear now because they're starting to round up any dissidents, any protesters. Hell, I'm expecting to visit myself. Not from Oregon, but from Bundy Ranch. Although there's nothing to arrest me for, they could, I'm looking at the possibility of being ruined. And there's a very odd thing that happened today when I got my electric bill. Somebody monkeyed with my meter that caused me to get a over $1,600 electric bill. My electric bill is usually $200. If you're in Kentucky, if your electric bill is over $400 the norm, you generally get a visit from the DEA to see if you're growing weed in your house using grow lights. So I'm just kind of expecting that visit. But anyway, here we go. Let's run this.
Bundy. I'm up here on the Mormon Mesa on our ranch. Got some cows over there. Behind me, one of our water catchment and our corrals. I felt like I needed to talk to you guys here today. You guys don't know, all my brothers are in jail. I would be there today, but I'm not 18 yet. Turn 18 on March 28th. Coming up soon. I've asked the Spirit to help me talk to you guys here today. So I feel like if you're watching this, you need a little guidance too. We need to wake up. We need to spread the word. We need to read the scriptures. The resurrection of the Lord is coming soon. Second coming. I can feel it. America's going down. Our government's taking over. And people are losing their innocent lives for no reason. A long time ago, back when the British were in control, the British had the biggest, strongest army in the world. No, they were unstoppable. But we, the people, conquered that biggest army. We took over that biggest army. And that's what we need to do now. Our government is way out of control. I'll tell you what they want. They want this. They want this land. Because you know what comes from land? Everything. Everything comes out of the ground, out of the land. And if they have control of that, then they have everything. everyone says, oh, it's all about the cows. See the cows? It's all about the cows. It's not about the cows. Wake up. That's an excuse. It's about us. It's about our future. Our cows, they can take our cows. But they're not going to take our future or our land. Because without our future and without our land, we got nothing. They're taking our born rights. Rights we were born with. They're taking. And we as Americans are standing by and letting this happen. You know, I don't know if you guys are very familiar with patriarchal blessing. It's kind of a thing that our church does. Anyways, it's a message that's given to you when you are ready from the Lord. And I read mine about 5 minutes ago, and it says I'm going to be a leader in the last day. And, you know, I don't know when that last day is, but I feel like it's pretty damn close. A lot of America has been focusing on my family to lead them and guide them. And they have been taken to jail. All my brothers, you know, I'm left. And I want everyone in America to know that it's past time. That we as Americans need to come together and stand up. We can beat the biggest army in the world. But the only people that can do it is we, the people. We can't let this stand by. Because after they take me, they're going to take my family, they're going to take the cows, they're going to take this land. And I promise you, you're next. Your land, your property, your rights, they're next. So we need to read the scriptures. We need to pray. We need to come together. And we need to stop this.
Yes, and I agree. We definitely need to stop this. We need to stop this fast. This is getting beyond the pale. All right, so let me clear this. And excuse me, I'm not Captain really good at this stuff, so let's see if I can get this. All right. So, you know, we got 14 additional defendants charged in felony crimes related to the 2014 standoff in Nevada. So the roundup is going on right now. I'm not sure if I want to read this entire thing, but I'll try anyway, and excuse my stumbling. Federal grand jury in Nevada has charged 14 more defendants in connection with the armed assault against the federal law enforcement officers. Actually, I'm going to put that the armed assault came from the federal law enforcement officers. So, fuck you, federal law enforcement officers. That's where the armed assault came from. This was people protecting their neighbors. So anyway, I'll start over again because I couldn't stand not paraphrasing there. Federal grand jury in Nevada has charged 14 more defendants in connection with the armed assault against federal law enforcement officers that occurred in Bunkerville, Nevada area on April 12, 2014. Over the removal of Cliven Bundy's cows from public lands, announced that the U.S. Attorney Daniel Bogan of District of Nevada and Special Agent in Charge Laura Bouchette of the FBI in Nevada. I don't know if that came out clear or not. But in quotes, this says, this investigation began the day after the assault. What assault? There was no assault. An assault requires an actual physical altercation. Maybe I'm wrong. There was really no physical altercation that I saw, except for, the BLM, tasing people and dogs and pregnant women. So anyway, this investigation began the day after the assault. Federal law enforcement, and continues to this day, said U.S. Attorney Bogan. We will continue to work to identify the assaulters. Well, maybe you should identify the BLM and the federal officers that assaulted women and dogs, and their role in the assault of the aftermath in order to ensure that justice is served. Cutting down into this next piece, it says a superseding criminal indictment was returned by the grand jury on Wednesday, March 2nd, and now the charges of total of 19 defendants and 14 new defendants. Melvin Bundy, 41. David Bundy, 39. Brian Cavalier, 44. Blaine Cooper, 36. Gerald Delamas, 61. Eric Parker, 32. Scott Drexler, 44. Richard R. Lubeline, 52 years old. Stephen Stewart. Todd C. Engel, who I just found out just got arrested about an hour and a half ago. Gregory Burleson. Joe O'Shaughnessy, who's already in. Micah L. McGuire. Jason D. Woods. Um, 12 of these defendants were arrested earlier today. 2 defendants, Brian Cavalier and Blaine Cooper, are already in federal custody. These indictments and subsequent arrest send an irrefutable message to the American people that our determination remains steadfast to protect and pursue the individuals who participate in violent acts of this nature, said Special Agent in Charge Bouchette. All right, I'm gonna punch this link into our chat, and you can go read it in full if you like. But this is nothing else but pure 100% adulterated they got their ass handed to them in Nevada for doing wrong, and they're using Oregon to go back and do nothing but retaliatory action. This is all about retaliation. Now, my name isn't on that list, but once they get done with that list, they're going to start working their way down into people like us, people like me, people who provided financial support, elicited financial support for these people to do what they needed to do. And here's my problem with all this. All right, so this isn't a black guy. These are not black guys burning down an entire motherfucking city, looting everything at hand, where nobody, well, a few people went to jail, mostly press went to jail, and mostly press and just people that managed to get in the way went to jail in Baltimore and Ferguson. But you get up here and get, real American patriots doing, like I always say, it's always fine to say you're a patriot until it's time to do patriot shit and everybody chickens out. Well, these guys didn't chicken out, and they went and did patriot shit, and now one of them's dead, and the rest of them are in jail, and now they're going back and doing reciprocatory and percussive arrests. Some of them they don't even have a charge on. They just arrested them and held them in jail for a bit and then released them. I know that for a fact. And hold on, I need to make a call. Hey Mo, what's up?
Hey, nothing much. Hang on a second. I got audio.
Do what? I didn't catch the last about 10 words.
Okay, gotcha. Never mind. I was just organizing.
Oh, all right, no problem. Yeah, I've been on air for about 15 minutes, and I've been going over this, and I looked at this article you put out, and I've been reading some of that, and looking at a few other things, and my irritation level is way beyond comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm sure with everybody, we're looking at like 14. Okay, there were 14 people that are already in custody, and they're looking at arresting a crap load more, and they arrested 4 or 5 today. I just got a message here about an hour ago. They arrested another one from Jason Pantano from Oath Keepers. Everybody's like on red alert right now.
Yeah, I actually don't have that one on my list. What'd you say his name was?
Give me a second, and I will. Give me a second. I shall tell you.
Okay. I could read my whole list too if you want for your audience.
Yeah, go ahead. Well,
okay.
It's not my audience. It's the Patriot audience.
Right, the Patriot audience. All right. So for those that are listening, currently the list that I have comes from the a few family members also confirmed confirmations I confirmed from one attorney, and also an article where they basically cited exactly who they're arresting today, and in some cases rearresting, at least in one case. So I'll read the list. The person they rearrested today, who was released recently on strict conditions, was Joseph O'Shaughnessy out of Arizona. He was back in Arizona with his mother, and he's been rearrested. His current attorney in Arizona is working on his release right now. We don't know if he's received it yet. Steve.
All right, hold on. Yeah, Todd Engel just got arrested.
Yes, Todd Engel was arrested a couple hours ago in Idaho, northern Idaho area. And he is the 3 Percenters VP for Idaho, the state of Idaho. Steve Stewart, and he already has a prisoner ID number of Haley, Idaho. He was booked in the Ada County Jail. Eric James Parker, many people know him, also out of Haley, Idaho, booked in the Ada County Jail. Delta, Utah. Gerald DeLumis, he's the Veterans for Trump coordinator and out of Rochester, New Hampshire. Todd Engel, you just mentioned, out of northern Idaho. Greg Burleson, out of Phoenix, Arizona, was arrested. His mom said there were several attorneys present, and this came from a close friend who I'm assisting on what steps they can take for the promotion of support and so on and so forth. Somebody, I don't know the first name, maybe you can help me, because it was only in print as initial O, Scott Drexler, out of Challis, Idaho, or Challis, Idaho.
I don't know the first name, but this is like I said. Keep going, and then we'll go into that.
Richard Loveline out of Westville, Oklahoma. And I already mentioned Joseph O'Shaughnessy, who was rearrested out of Arizona. Micah McGuire out of Chandler, Arizona. And also Jason D. Woods, also out of Chandler, Arizona. We had 12 defendants newly arrested today. 2 of the defendants that had new indictments placed on them today, to include new Nevada indictments, also amassing, saying that there was a massive, what did they call it? Armed movement is the new terms in this indictment.
Well, the article I just looked at said armed assault. As you know, the only armed assault I saw in Nevada, and the only armed anything, and the only scene came from the other side of the fence. Assault actually occur from anyone but the other side of the fence, as far as I'm concerned. If I'm wrong, tell me.
No, you're right. No assaults had ever occurred from the Patriots or these political prisoners. Video has evidence of that. The government still has yet to prove any of these accusations. These accusations are based off either hearsay as well as presumption. It's based off of any evidence that any one of us know anything about. And those that were on the ground at Bundy, and also live feeds that were provided, had never seen any assaults committed by any Patriot on the ground. And as you stated, the only assaults that were committed were from the other side, which was law enforcement conducting themselves under the color of law, which is important. Those are key words, under the color of law, in order to take what they wanted from private owners, and not even. And then the refuge, I was on the ground reporting and saw no actions from the Patriot community ever, not once, aggressively in any manner. And the only actions we all had seen is when they killed Lavoy and then arrested others, and reports that are being reported from local community members, also under fear, great deal of fear, but did report, some on video, some did allow their faces to be seen as they reported it. And there's video out there on that. And those are the local community members that felt harassed and intimidated for, unknown traffic violations, or, unknown causes to pull them over and harass them. And some assaults had occurred on local citizens.
Yeah, I'm expecting, I'm honestly, I'm a little tripped out. I'm expecting a visit myself. Simply because of the fact, I did a lot. I didn't go there, but I sent people there, of course. I'm too old to be running all over the country, and that's like a 4-day trip for me. Anyway, and it's easier to send somebody from Vegas there, and I'm a little worried about the people I sent there, and we did a lot to provide financial support and send stuff out there and all that. Are we the next people, the press and the supporters? Are we the next people to go down?
Until he already was arrested.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. You still there? Oh crap, I lost her. All right, let me call her back. Yeah, I lost you about mid last sentence there, Mo.
Pete Santilli had been arrested, and he spoke to educational purposes. As far as the way he is an advocate, he speaks to the educational side of the house and information. He'll release information as he finds out. And as you know, he's been very compliant when law enforcement at the Bundy Ranch, and this is all on live feed, said, get back. he told people surrounding him, and this is all documented on live feeds still, you can find this. He said, okay, that was a direct order. We can't play around with those. We need to get back. We need to listen. And people listened and moved back. He constantly worked in an effort at keeping things peaceful, as he did in all kinds of other events that he was a part of, which Deb and I have spoken to on your show before. But
well, yeah, definitely. You know, it's like I have to keep climbing back into Ferguson and Occupy and all these things, you know, and we could probably climb all the way back into the LA riots. And we have seen no governmental reaction like we have seen over this particular issue, which makes me have to ask, what the hell is going on? Why is the government so interested in putting everybody in jail over this issue, while we have seen endless inner city riots in which they burn down their towns and loot businesses and riot and bust stuff up? We see a lot less arrests and a lot less, I mean, you know, dead people arrest.
Yeah, let me also add to that a parallel and pattern also noticed, and a lot of the Patriot community maybe not has thought of this or was aware of this. But think back, let's go back to the 60s and look at the movements that were going on for civil rights and stuff like that. Anytime they marched peacefully, assembled peacefully, and any civil disobedience that occurred, like, I don't know, not moving to the back of the bus when told so because of the color of your skin. So that woman was arrested, Rosa Parks, arrested for disobeying an order. Should she have moved to the back of the bus? Are we saying that peaceful expression of civil disobedience should have allowed that arrest that was made that day? No. And here's the thing. Here's the pattern I want to point out. The only arrests or aggressive and violent actions we're seeing in our recent history, to include decades back, during the civil movement, is over peaceful rallies, peaceful protests, and those are the ones primarily being targeted and attacked. Now, that expounds on what you just mentioned with the violent activities such as riots with burning and looting, etc., and people in the government calling those protests. Those are freaking war riots. I want to cuss. I'm sorry. I'm pretty angry too today. Those are riots. And those are the arrests that we're not seeing be made. However, over recent decades, we are constantly seeing the arrests made of those that perform or conduct either civil disobedience with peaceful actions, with no aggression. And that includes many movements. I want to capitalize on that one more thing. Recent things that have happened, like the Boston movement or the Boston riots. We know them to be riots. But do you know that dead?
You mean Baltimore, right?
Baltimore, sorry.
Yeah, Baltimore, yeah.
And things happen in Boston too. There were peaceful protesters that were either ignored for some period of time, being peaceful. We don't have to agree with their message, but they were practicing their First Amendment rights, and those were the ones they actually targeted and arrested and rounded up. They rounded them.
Well, yeah, and they there is a continuous. All right, folks, OperationAmericanSpring.us. I've been really busy over there. It's not been easy. I've been spending a couple of days dealing with a friend of mine that just could not stand her life without being the middle of my whatever world. And I've been really busy the last couple of days, but we do have 50 some events happen around, over 50 events happen around the country. I'm sure there's more. I've just not got time to list them. And it's really important, not just to me, but the whole rest of the U.S. to get the events in there, and that anybody, and if you're looking at this video, right up there in the corner, it shows my Skype contact information. And if you can get to that, you can get to your local rally, whatever's closest to you, and add that. Put your Skype, get get a Skype app on your smartphone, I will go back and forth all day long. I will sit here for the entire day broadcasting all this. All I need is people to actually do the work. Please, just do the work. Add that Skype contact, and all you have to do is call me on Skype with video, with a smartphone. I mean, this doesn't have to be, TV station quality. We just want to see all of this going on around the world and show everybody, the country. And we just want to show everybody that people do care. And it's really important to me, and I'm sure it's really important to everybody else, especially our political prisoners at this point, that this gets done. I've had to take 2 days off to deal with some other stuff, but I am back, folks. And it's really important that this gets done. So, as I keep trying to say, OperationAmericanSpring.us, go look for where your, go over to the rally report, look for where your local event is going on. And then if you look at our video, again, right up in the corner, it shows our Skype contact. All you need is a Skype, the Skype app on your video. Add that, and we can, I can do all the hard stuff back here. All you got to do is call me via Skype with video at whatever event you are. All right, go ahead, Mo.
Oh, no, that's fantastic. The rallies are coming on March 5th. I'll be reporting on one in Portland, Oregon, expecting counter-protesters, expecting them to be in their own location where they're permitted, and that's going to be on the federal courthouse steps. The Portland, Oregon rally for the Stand By Me event, which is run nationally by the Finicum family, Jessica Edgar Foth, is primarily...
Well, hold on. Can you live stream for me by just calling me with video from Skype?
Yes, I'm sure that I can.
All right, cool. Because what we're going to do is we're going to set up this huge... I've been working on my computer for a couple of days, and we're going to have all of these like little squares around the country back and forth. So that would be awesome if you can do that.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be recording as well, so I'll come in and out on that stream, if you don't mind, so that I could capture some of the events that need to be recorded and then uploaded without any stream interruption. If you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and we got stuff coming from all over the country. So I have a limit of about 8 I can do, and so we're just going to keep moving around the country.
There you go. So yeah, basically what I'd like people to do today. Also, a message was provided me through the channels of a Finicum family member, loved one, and other individuals. I'll leave nameless since they're dealing with this case right now. It's not a harsh message, but it's a good word of advice and some guidance, which is if you were at the Bundy Ranch location, contact your local sheriff. Ensure he knows what your activities were in all honesty, and ask if he would be protecting you from any federal government intrusion. And I would also further advise myself that you look up, Google research, if you don't have the money to get a private attorney retained at the ready. Start raising funds for that, by the way. But you can also look into your local federal public defenders, and you can fill out, and I know that's, it's the federal government working for the federal government. Some are going to be okay, some are not, but you need to have somebody representing you on the ground, ensuring accountability, that you're being treated well, being processed correctly, if that's what the result is to be. But in some cases, you're just going to be contacted. Some people are going to be questioned and contacted, and you really don't want to speak without an attorney representation. So if they're not there to arrest you and detain you, the first question to ask, are you here to arrest me? If not, no, then please contact my attorney and obtain a warrant. And
Yeah, exactly. And, I want to add this in. I'm also looking at reports from friends of mine that are getting attacked by the IRS. I've seen several in the last few days that are also following this, supporting this, etc. And they are getting randomly attacked by the IRS with ridiculous bills that make no sense.
Sounds like this old they used against Tea Party goers.
Yeah, exactly. And quite honestly, this is kind of the far end of this. A lot of these people own guns, whatever gun that might be, and what happens is once they walk into your house with any kind of warrant, even from the IRS, any firearm you might own, they can take away. Just pick it up and take it away. You may or may not get it back, depending on the end of the case, but it just puts you in a situation in which you have no firearms whatsoever, no protection whatsoever, and sometimes, and a lot of times they take all your computers and everything else. So there is a huge retaliatory agenda going on right now with every federal agency on the board, from what I'm seeing.
Sorry. Yes. Yes. It's systemically an issue throughout many branches. And the issue being this: there is toxicity, possible infiltration that is bringing us down from within. I mean, we all suspect it. I'm only sharing with you my own speculation and suspect of what is happening to this country for it for this to be continuing, to be allowed. Not just because we, the people, are sitting by too complacently still and idly, which, that's only going to last so long before, I don't know, something else breaks. The dam's going to eventually break. Which side of the dam breaks, I don't know. We've already seen unrest in our country from other groups, and of course, with little to zero repercussion. So it's almost like it's feeding a narrative or agenda for that social agenda, which is, to promote those, like they say they're oppressed, so we're going to take care of them, we're going to coddle them. Yet that's who's getting all the free stuff, who's on, government funds, and then out there.
Well, yeah, the people that get the free stuff are, of course, going to continue to vote via largest from the government.
Right. But I just want to make this clear. I don't care what color you are, and I don't care if you are receiving government aid. If you're receiving government aid and promoting an agenda that is unconstitutional, that's my problem. My problem lies there. There are plenty of people who receive government aid in the Patriot community for various different reasons, and justifiably as well. And there's a reason why we all voted and allowed certain aspects of our government to run certain organizations to help the people. Okay, we can't forget that. Although it's gotten too big, it's out of control, there's too much bureaucracy, we can't forget there are good reasons to help good people that don't abuse the system. But then there's those that abuse the system, get away with it, commit fraud even, are criminal, and still receiving their aid and out and about running around. And again, that's white people too. We can't forget that is now, just because the Black community is, doing more and protesting and whatnot, they're not the only voice with real grievances. The white people in America are oppressed too. I think it's more of a class issue, and I think Deb spoke to that. This is more of a class issue. If you're not,
it's totally. This has nothing to do with color anymore. Color, creed, race, whatever. It's a class issue. You're right. You are exactly right.
Yeah, and a party issue, even though I personally believe both parties are corrupt at this point. It's a party issue, though, where, it depends on which side is going to do the most damage or how they're going to do the damage. They just both want to do damage a different way, in my opinion. This is not a free democracy any longer. This is not the republic as we knew it. This is not the foundation that our forefathers laid out for us. It's heavily abused. It's tons of overreach, a lot of toxicity. And yes, every government program seems to be inflicted with these concerns. And that is where we, the people, do have a right to use our First Amendment and speak out against these known, as long as we truly have identified these grievances, the toxicity or criminal behavior, we have the right to stand up and call it out and speak to it and get it on the congressional floor. We need our representation to represent us, but we have to now do the same tactics that, let's say, the oppositional groups, the groups we don't agree with their message, but they're doing really good at, they pay for their buses to get around the country. They pay them to be at rallies. They have very powerful attorneys involved that are leading their groups, the Nation of Islam, et cetera, et cetera. Black Lives Matter, the new Black Panthers, they are amassing armies to do those phone calls to the representatives. Even though they're a smaller voice, they're calling and changing our laws and our legislation by being active and not sitting just behind a keyboard. And
yeah, and that just continues my never-ending tirade of, get off your ass. It's okay to be awake, but you got to kind of get out of bed if you're going to actually do a damn thing.
Yes, you need to be, and you can Google research this information. I haven't gotten to a chance to make my list yet, where I want to make a list of constitutional good guys that we can contact throughout the country as far as political representation, elected representation, various forms, to include local law enforcement. But you know what? I mean, each person knows their own area better. You can do a Google research on your area, study each individual, call them, make contact, ask for an audience, and ask them questions. If you don't know what their actions are legislatively, you should ask them what they've been doing. I mean, of course, they post about things like that. Ask them what their motives are. Ask them who they're representing, which people, what groups. Ask them what charities are funding them. That's a really good question, by the way.
And all. Excuse me.
Sorry, hon. We're all waiting. No worries.
But anyway, get vocal local.
Yes, get vocal. And I'm still intending to do my good guy, bad guy list. I'm just nicknaming it for right now. Excuse my lack of intelligence, but my good guy list will be as many constitutional representations as I can amass and find. And then my bad guy list is going to be the known individuals that we know to be acting out unconstitutionally, whether it be, implementing Sharia law compliant communities like in Seattle. I'm not kidding you. Whatever the criteria, or BLM activities that are unconstitutional, etc. And that'll be my bad guy. They'll be on my bad guy list. And
yeah, exactly. And we have seen this. It's really funny when I watch. There's this, and I don't want to get into this conversation in any depth, but there is a Islamic idea of a flat Earth that keeps getting itself injected recently into the truther community, really upsetting the whole damn thing, making us all look like crazies that I've been endlessly fighting off. And it's just really funny when you look at this and with any kind of depth and view. I've been doing this for where we're going on, we're kind of into our 5th year, and listening to everybody. A lot of people think I don't listen to everything, and I listen to everything, and I have watched a variation come across everything in the truther community and have gotten really good at discerning the truthers and the patriots from the guys just trying to get some YouTube hits. And it never ceases to get stranger every day recently. And and I've looked at all these arrests that went on today, and I find it interesting that as we look at the roundup going on, and I subscribe to very few people on YouTube. And I'm seeing almost nobody talking about it.
No, it's amazing. And what is needed is that we do talk about this, we educate each other, and we apply positive public pressure measures. Positive, meaning call those numbers, your representatives, email them, both if you have to. And we need to do this in a coordinated effort. And
I lost her. Well, crap. I lost her again. Let me try this again. Anyway, I'll call her back. But yeah, it's getting dangerous. It's getting real damn dangerous for everybody.
there we are.
All right, you're back. Yeah, I lost you about mid-sentence.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost you mid-sentence. So.
Okay, so that's where we need to get coordinated efforts, amass the numbers, and do positive public pressure. Meaning you don't call and yell and scream and curse or threaten anybody, of course, but you let them know where we the people, stand in these issues. Am I still on?
Sorry, but the person you called has a voice.
Yeah, you're still on. I was trying to add Deb in, but she's still apparently very busy. So.
Sorry, I missed that. What you said.
No, she didn't answer. It's been going to voicemail for a few days. So.
Deb? Oh, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
And I don't want to describe that until she comes on air and talks about it herself, but she's getting some stuff done, very important stuff. But anyways, yes, the public pressure is needed, but that means we have to get away from our keyboards unless we're emailing and do the phone calls and the emails and tell them what it is that we're concerned about and elevate the information about the Constitution. And ensure that our public representatives, our elected officials, our local law enforcement understand that we, the people, are aware of our rights and we want them enforced. And we want true law and justice enforced. In other words, where certain law enforcement entities are acting under the color of law, but it's unconstitutional, we need to call it out. And we have to stop talking about it only online. It's okay to talk about it online, but as long as you take that information you're learning online and then apply it to those phone calls and emails and do this in mass numbers. I don't care if it's every day. I don't care if we set a schedule. I don't care how everybody does it. But if you do this in a positive way, you can make a difference. Imagine the numbers that watch football Sunday and Monday nights doing that. Every chance that they get on their off time, and it only takes a few minutes of your time to do it. And it's your local officials. You don't need to call everybody across the nation. Everybody needs to be responsible with their own local officials, and that means law enforcement as well. So it's really easy. It's really easy. It's exactly what the other side, the smaller number of Americans, the socialists and the communists are getting away with right now. It's exactly why they're changing our laws at will and our legislation at will. That's how they're doing it. One of the many ways they're doing it. And they're doing it legally. And if you think about it, by applying the public pressures, if you really want these guys out, if you really want the federal government to take notice, show them the Constitution and show them how many of you support the Constitution and live under that rule of law still. Show them.
Or maybe if we actually want to make this happen, should we not burn and loot Portland?
Of course you should.
I'm being facetious.
Yes, I know. Why? Okay, that. Why would you?
Mo, you're breaking up real bad. I'm losing you again.
How's this? Am I still breaking?
Yeah, you're breaking up. Let me reset the call again. All right. Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me okay?
All right. You're a little better. We're getting broke up a bit. I have a feeling we're getting punched.
I can just yeah.
All right. Oh, all right. Well, listen, it's getting torn up. Something's tearing up your connection. But I think we have made every point we need to make. Folks, it's really time to either decide what the hell you're going to do, or take a crap or get off the pot right now. I have looked at this from every angle, and I just cannot understand why these guys are so important to be put in jail and arrested, while I have seen entire cities torn down over last summer, and never seen so many high profile arrests. High profile arrests. Sorry.
That's yeah. It's amazing, and what they conducted was amount civil disobedience, and it's for purposes of freedom and purposes of the First Amendment. Second Amendment was practiced non-aggressively, and we can't forget that. We really cannot forget that we're a nation of practicing such events, and resulting in arrests it's unacceptable. And we've looked at these things historically, and we've all sat through our history classes and our social studies classes, us older generations that had true, accurate historical information taught to us, and we all disagreed with the tactics used against good people that were addressing their grievances. And why would we change that? Why would we say that these patriots are doing anything that would even amount to anything different than civil disobedience? Why would we allow people to call these good Americans terrorists? Why are we allowing that to be in the mainstream media? Why are we allowing the mainstream media to get away with it? That's another thing you can do and take action, and call your local mainstream media and your national mainstream media and email them letters of rebuke. Rebuke them, rebuff the narrative, and tell them that these are falsehoods, that you know them to be falsehoods. Give them links as to why those are falsehoods, and educate them about the Constitution. The mainstream media is listening only to the government entities that are their narrative is harming our country, and many people are listening to that. And there's no reason why we can't address this with the mainstream media folks, the editors and producers, not necessarily the journalists. They're just mouthpieces, they're puppets. But you need to get to the editors and the producers of the individual national platform shows and your local ones, and you need to tell them these are untruths that you're reporting. You are showing us a disservice to our country. You are the last line of defense in our country when things are wrong, and things are very wrong, and we're all in danger. Your own First Amendment is being edited, and we know that. You're being edited, and you are being censored, and you're giving us a disservice to this country. We are in harm's way. And if you keep obeying unconstitutional requests to edit yourselves inappropriately, laced with lies, then you're wrong. You are wrong to do that to this country.
Well, yeah, somebody just asked me in our YouTube chat, what are we going to do about this? Well, I'm not the best person to ask that. I'm kind of, okay, I'm done with this, go bonk some heads kind of guy. But it's really important, I think, that people show up. I mean, a lot of people show up at these rallies this weekend.
Yes.
And let's show, because it's the only way you're going to get anybody involved. Because, 99.9% of America has no idea what the hell's going on in Oregon. 99% of American has no idea what happened at Bundy Ranch. 99.8% has no clue what happened with Lavoy Finicum.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
you know, the actual number of people who have any idea what the hell is going on is very small. And that's the whole point with this weekend, is that everybody gets out there and starts letting people know what is really going on. So, you know, that's kind of what I got to say about that.
And that's another, and yes, the rallies are important. The peaceful rallies are extremely important. They need numbers. And that means you have to leave your home and join in, and join with confidence and not fear. And that also means that if there's counter protesters inciting you, you must not engage. You must not engage, or you'll destroy the message. Simply put, if you engage in their false rhetoric to defend, you know, and I know because people have a passion and a heart to defend against such lies, they're only there to tell those lies. They're only there to incite you. They're only there. A lot of them are paid agents. You just have to tune them out and ignore them. One of the worst things you could do to somebody that's arguing with you is simply ignore them. It pisses them off to no end. And we all have experienced that.
Oh, yeah, actually, I had to do that today. But anyway, it had nothing to do with this. But, you know, old Marine, this old Marine, which is a respected YouTuber that I check out consistently, you know, just said, don't trust the sheriffs. You know, I don't trust anybody. I trust no one. You know, it's probably a good idea to really not fully trust anybody unless you stand toe to toe and look them in the eye, folks. You know, I know several of the Oath Keeper group. I talk to them on a regular basis. I know their media director real well. Doesn't mean I trust him. You know, information comes from there. I know 3%ers. Doesn't mean I trust them. Just means I know them. I trust nobody. I really don't. And I advise nobody trusts anybody unless you look them in the eye. So, you know, I have to agree with this old Marine, you know, and what he was saying in the chat. You know, if you have not, you know, met them and been eye to eye, well, then, you know, that doesn't deserve your full 100% trust. But, you know, in the end, that's not we're not talking about 100% trust. We're talking about trying to make a difference, and it's really important that everybody this weekend gets out and does something. Please.
1 minute. I put you on mute because my dogs went nuts. They keep hearing things outside. They have me on alert. Let me tell you, not only the arrest took place, but all day my dogs are barking to some things that are going on outside, and there's nothing there. Anyway.
Well, tell your dogs I said right back. So
they hear you. They're all cocking their heads. So yes, that speaks to one of the things I said, besides the phone calls and the emails, getting to the rallies, besides that, being out there and going toe to toe to meet these people. Also the audiences, you can request audiences with your local officials, your local legislation and representatives. Meet them, talk to them, let them see your face, bring pamphlets, bring information, bring the Constitution, you know, and show them your evidence, show them why you're there. If you're also a person of little words, bring the tools necessary to speak for you. Print things out from online. You guys can do this. And also at the rallies, bring that information individually to the rallies and pass it out. You know, stick to the message that the rally is intended for. But you know, so you don't want to bring your pro-life or abortion packets to a Lavoy Finicum Stand By Me rally, because that's a different message. a very specific thing that we all need to tackle again and again. But you need to bring, and not every patriot is for that, by the way, or against it. You know, a lot of people, but we need to stick to the overall message right now, and that means our country is in a grave danger of its own self, and the Constitution is under attack. And these are the reasons why. And these are the agencies that are impacting the Constitution negatively. And these are the aggressors, and these are not the aggressors. You know, that kind of education, that kind of message, positive messages, especially on this upcoming rally around the nation on the 5th, this weekend. Bring your information, bring your constitutions, bring your signs. Yes, signs are great. Make sure your signs, and this is a directive. I'm sharing all this. What I'm sharing with you is guidance. I shouldn't say the word directive, but guidance provided me and many other media personalities during media conferences with the FINICOM media coordinator, who they retained and is also a family member. And she's trying to help us media personalities and also those that are coordinating and leading each event throughout the nation. She's helping them with more tools and resources for each of their rallies. And this also pertains to the information, and this is why I'm sharing this. I agree with this, of all the different things we can be doing. This is some of the guidance I've received. As I think you know, I've already been promoting on my own, and they're in line with that already.
Yeah, hey, Eric Parker arrested just now. I don't know if we've already said that, but I just got that via message.
Yes, he's on my list, and yes, it was a few hours ago, not just now, but yes, he has been arrested. It was earlier today. I don't know the exact time, but I know it was many hours ago now.
All right. It seemed like we had mentioned that earlier. I just wanted to make sure you didn't get left out. Oh, so anyway, you know, this has just been a very stressful day for everybody, and apparently the roundup is going down, and they're going to pick up everybody. I'm assuming they're going to pick up the people that were there at first, you know, that were physically on site. And then my concern is, are they going to start picking up people behind the scenes next, is a little bit of my concern right now.
It's all over the place. Again, Pete Santilli, he was not initially there. He was at the memorial building with me. And he received the news at the very tail end, and he didn't understand the news he was receiving. He received like, hey, come with us. We're going to go, stand our ground.
Well, I'm talking about Bundy Ranch.
Oh, Bundy Ranch. Yeah. I mean, and that varied too. I mean, again, Pete came to that later, not immediately. It's people, the numbers grew over days and grew and grew and grew. The support grew and grew and grew. But yeah, I mean, I can't pin down exactly what it is they're looking for on these indictments, because they're blanketing these indictments, but some people came in later, played lesser roles, and they're still under the same heavy charges. Exactly.
Well, yeah, and it's all this pre-crime bullshit, you know, conspiracy. It's all, everything that I'm seeing on every indictment has the word conspiracy in it.
What's funny is the Patriot community, even attacks itself for conspiracy theories and kind of negates people that jump into rabbit holes and discover very dangerous and interesting facts, in some cases evidential or maybe just speculation. But it's been the mantra against us that, you know, all of us are just conspiracy theorists and tinfoil hat wearers. Yet everything I am seeing amassed against the Patriot community is conspiracy theory. I am seeing a coordinated effort to round up good quality Americans that have a voice, that are speaking against government actions that were not legal.
Well, yeah, it's a giant put them all in jail gag order.
A giant one. And it's a conspiracy theory at that. And I can only say that
it's not even a conspiracy theory anymore. This is pretty much a fact. They're shutting us all down. They're shutting us all down, and they are using some very nasty tactics to do it.
Indictments are conspiracy theory, presumption, assumption, and not fact-based. That's what I'm speaking to.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. I'm with you on that.
The ones wearing tinfoil hats are not in the Patriot community. That's what I'm saying. Those are the people creating these false accusations and documents, trumped up charges, and conspiracy theory. They're the ones conspiring against we the people.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, and I've yet, as I said earlier, I've yet to see any aggressive moves made by anyone in the Patriot community. The only aggressive moves I have seen have come 100% from the U.S. government, no matter, what branch they want to use.
Yeah, there is no footage showing any Patriot of all different forms and classes and backgrounds and cultures. Not one of them have taken an aggressive stance at any time. It's amazing. It boggles my mind. It absolutely boggles my mind.
Exactly. All right. Well, listen, folks. Hold on. Hold on, Mo. Again, OperationAmericanSpring.us. There is a crap load of events up there. Also, don't forget, it costs money to do all this. So if you can, help support the station, just go on up to freedomslips.com, hit, find the support button. I don't say this a lot, but it is, I keep getting a from you, Maureen or Mo. Anyway, so if you can help out, some of our people going out to live stream might need some dollars to cover expenses, etc. Some of these people that I have going are going hundreds of miles. So, and I've been a little bit behind the curve the last couple of days because I've been dealing with some other issues that I shouldn't have had to been dealing with. But, get up there and help us out. We really need the support so we can keep people moving across the country. And go to OperationAmericanSpring.us to find where your rally is occurring. Go to freedomslips.com if you want to help us out. If not, that's okay too. So let's just continue. Okay, go ahead, Mo.
Oh, what was I saying? Just as far as it boggling my mind, everything that's going on, and there was no aggression taken. I was just saying that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remind myself. I was saying that there's no video evidence of this or recordings of these accusations yet. And we all study this online, yet the mainstream media is portraying it in writing without video evidence like they usually would do. And writing it that way anyway. And the American people are buying it. And if they were doing their own research, they would see that all the actions taken were peaceful. And it just boggles my mind that they're buying this spoon-fed bullshit. It's amazing.
Yeah, and if you think it's going to end, you're sadly mistaken. Hey, you want to hear something funny? My own website is now I cannot post my website even in my own chat because it is blacklisted from one end of YouTube to another. They haven't shut down my channel, but you can't post freedomslips.com.
Wow. And here we go with the censoring.
Yep.
They can throughout social media, mainstream media, to censor us. And then the federal government is arresting good people to censor us. They're censoring the media like Pete Santilli. They're also using these arrests, I believe, to continue to frighten us and to stop speaking. But it's just going to, people like me, it emboldens me because it just confirms their agenda. And I will continue to speak to it until I'm physically silenced. You'll have to gag me. And that will take an imprisonment.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. You know, the best way to piss me off is to tell me I can't do something.
And walk in courage, folks. Do not cower to this. Do not be complacent to it either. Do not let fear rule you. Fear will kill us. Fear will kill us, all of us. And it's exactly what happens in the workplaces today, where people are being censored at work, and within military branches and other branches where people can't have these discussions and debates or challenge authority when authority is acting unbecoming. They're afraid to challenge and make positive changes by challenging it, even if it's in their own right to do so. They're afraid of retribution. And that is why from within we are where we are today. We let it happen. Soldiers like me.
Yeah, exactly. I have to agree. You know, yesterday, my cats all have PTSD. Yeah, I mean, as a former, Army soldier, you know how loud a Chinook is, right?
Oh, I hear something on here. I'm very close.
Yeah, I had seven of those guys come over my house yesterday at literally 500 feet because I'm on top of the mountain. So, they're...
Yeah, out right here and near one of the direct paths that they routinely take. So if they start hovering around me, I won't even know. Like I'll just be like, oh, gee, training again. And mortar, yeah. I get the echoes of the mortars through our valley. It's I'm used to it. And then just a lot of training and things. But so some of that's normal protocol and procedural that I've been experiencing since the Gulf War began.
For me, that's kind of a PTSD situation. But I had 7 of those guys come over the top of my house yesterday at less than 500 feet. I mean, I didn't even realize what was going on for about 3 minutes. Every cat in the house went under the bed. The dog went under the desk. And I thought we were having an earthquake because they were so low and so close. And then about 2 minutes in, I ran outside and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And these Chinooks, 7 of them, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as they were coming over. And I'm like, what the hell? I live in the flight path between, Bluegrass, Army Depot, and Fort Knox, which is, where they were going. But, really? 500 feet? Could they have not gotten a little bit higher and not blowed up my house?
Yeah, actually, I think there's limitations. There's supposed to be limitations to their flight patterns are there for a reason. And then over suburban areas or private homes, private lands, unless they have special permissions that I'm unaware of, that's not supposed to be occurring. So when people report these events, I know that they're happening. I get it. But they're not supposed to be happening.
I didn't think so either. I thought the treetop level flight limitations was 3,800 feet, not 500. I mean, I could read the number on the bottom of the Chinooks.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I have not yet encountered that proximity to me in my home area. You know, I only see that proximity when I'm on base and I'm under the flight pattern. So, and they're landing or they're leaving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's almost were they, you know, I'm not going to go say they were intending to scare me, but why were they, you know, why were they flying under the radar?
Yeah,
Would be my question.
There are new concerns that are rising from events like that throughout our nation. As why is that occurring over private homes and suburban areas? You know, is that the Jade Helm training continued at whatever phase it's at right now? 2, 3, I don't even know anymore. Agenda 21. You know, I mean, there's a lot of unusual activity that's going on. Unusual compared to the last decade where we got used to the wartime activity we were all seeing. Well, didn't we pull out of Afghanistan and Iraq primarily in high volumes, and we should be seeing decreased activity, you know, at this point. And especially, we never even saw this activity in our suburban areas or over our private homes that people are reporting. We never saw that during wartime. Now we're seeing more wartime-like activity, shipping of, you know, very armored and very heavy vehicles and tanks and strikers all around the country, and other equipment. Everybody's reporting that. We're seeing unusual or we're hearing or even witness to unusual activities in suburban or even city-like areas. I'm seeing a lot of parachute jumps that I never remembered seeing in the last decade during wartime, which is, you know, weird. I don't know what that means, because I thought to myself, and we just saw more of them yesterday. I thought to myself again yesterday, why didn't I see more of that training conducted, the parachute jumps, during wartime? Why am I seeing so much of it now? I mean, maybe they were busy in war, so I didn't see them here practicing. But then, you know, you have troops, units rotating, you know. So they, in between the rotations, they come back, they go through a reset management module for all their equipment and personnel, but they also continue conducting training. Why didn't I see more jumps? And now I'm seeing tons of jumps. Where are they planning to jump right now? I don't know. I don't have answers. I just have questions. I'm out of the loop. I'm getting out of the military. I don't know anything. But yeah, I'm seeing weird things too here and there that I'm like, huh.
Well, yeah, I understand. You know, I'm not the guy to go call myself a prophet or anything. And it's probably because I've been so immersed in this. But I had this huge dream last night. They started arresting everybody I knew last night. And then, you know, we had people parachuting all over the place around me and all this kind of stuff. You know, this is just, you know, psychology 101. I understand why my brain was doing this. But, you know, the first part of the dream that I had was they were arresting everybody I knew. And then I get up today and start, you know, doing my daily work. And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing everybody I know getting arrested.
Yeah. Well, your dream was very prophetic, because people have been 12 new arrestees and 2 additional indictments on 2 already incarcerated.
Yeah, exactly. So then I got to wonder about the rest of that dream, which woke me up looking for my firearms, and I'm a sleepwalker. We keep my firearms, my ammo, separate and each locked up because I'm a sleepwalker. And so we keep all that going on, but it's got to make you wonder. It's like, I had this one dream, or I had this one continuous dream over hours. In fact, I woke up once to go to the bathroom, went back to bed, and went straight back into that exact dream. I'm not the psychic guy. I don't believe in any of that or any of this kind of stuff. But it was a little bit concerning when I started seeing this going down today, when everybody I knew was starting to get arrested. And then I go, well, is the rest of that dream right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I have dreams from the past where I feel as though they're I couldn't even explain in the past. It was before I even joined the military. I'm like, what the hell? And now I've actually seen parts of those dreams from the past in my early 20s actually come to fruition, where I ended up at locations I'd never been before until I was a soldier. And then when I was a soldier, I'm like, oh, okay, well, here I am. This is that scene. This is that airport. This is that military airstrip that I was dreaming about. But I was like behind the fence in the dark, crouching down. I don't know what the hell I thought I was doing or what I was battling. It was just a flash kind of dream of a scene, of an event. There was a lot of adrenaline. I definitely was battling something. And then I'm like, well, now I'm a soldier. So like what? Are we getting attacked? Then 9/11 happened. Like, well, what? Well, holy crap. But that was still not the complete fruition. But now I can kind of see how, that dream had some meat to it. I'm not a prophet or anything either. I don't try, but I was like, whoa. So I know what you mean. It's weird things are happening. Our psychology, we're definitely having psyops played against us, and we have for numerous, probably decades. I've had concerns about our country for a lot longer. They were mild concerns compared to now. And, I wanted to serve my country honorably. I thought I was doing the capacity of what I needed to do. And well, here I am today thinking, no, this was the capacity I need to be in, to tell the truth.
Well, my entire military experience, I was, I'm old, so it was back Cold War.
Oh, that's a lot of psyops.
Yeah, well, it was fun and not fun. I spent, my most dangerous and times I actually got into, firefight kind of stuff was, Lebanon back when the embassy was attacked, and then going from there, and then I went to Germany and Okinawa and all that kind of stuff. I would, and then back to Montana and all that. I'm a radio guy, so I was with the radio corps. So,
I don't know if people know the capacity I served in. I was just an 88 mic heavy truck vehicle operator. But that put me in positions in Iraq unexpectedly. Because when I joined, it was 2000, 9/11 hits, and I'm supposed to go to Turkey. Turkey denies us entry, and then we get the Frago, and on to Baghdad I go. And I'm like, what in the fuck just happened? Excuse my language. But the soldier in me is coming out now, because this is my PTSD. I'm going back. But yeah, I traveled thousands of miles throughout the country of Iraq, constantly in under threat, in the face of danger. Some events happened. I was attacked personally, my personal vehicle. And not a scratch on me though. No Purple Hearts, nothing like that. Great. And I conducted myself quite well. The training kicked in. And other events happened with the unit throughout our 15-month deployment. We were one of the ones in the very beginning that also were on our way home and got turned around. It got extended. We call it the Miracle Unit. The media, the press here in our state of Washington call us the Miracle Unit, and outstanding career. It was we did great work though. I got to say, we built.
Well, and everybody, I don't understand why people don't appreciate the fact that, or so few people appreciate the fact that soldiers do their job, regardless of all the politics and all that kind of stuff. I was wanting my daughter to join the Air Force just to get a little discipline and college money and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not sure I want, I don't want her, she wouldn't join anyway. I'm former Air Force, but she didn't want to join. But it's getting scary. I mean, does anybody in America want their kids to join, the Marines or the Army, because we're not seeing real wars anymore. We're just seeing corporate wars being and the young people of different countries being used as fodder.
Yeah, unfortunately, until in a couple months or less, I'll be discharged. I can't. I would love to discuss this with you in the near future when I am released.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I understand.
No, but I love what you're saying, and I have so much to say to that, but I don't want to be perceived as showing discredit to an organization I still respect. There's still good guys in there, of course.
Of course, and I highly respect our military.
Why?
What I don't respect is the corporate wars in our government.
Yes. And to that, there are some things that we, the people, need to be made aware of that can be changed. And once again, public pressure would need to assist in that. But soldiers need to be able to speak to it. Right now, under UCMJ actions and regulations, there are, concerns about how much, if we speak to it, how we would be perceived, even if it's whistleblowing, it just causes unnecessary retribution. But I'm so close to the end. I'm just going to let it be and shine a positive light to my compadre and my brothers and sisters in arms and the great works they have done. And I would like to see our nation. I would like to.
Well, yeah, and it's a sad thing to see that, when you look at the actual losses in the Middle East and compare them with the losses to suicide by our veterans, it pales in comparison, and it's sickening.
It is, and I want people to know there's good and bad reasons, and we're a nation of people that help others. We helped ourselves first. We got through revolution. We got through civil war. And then we reached out and began to make a positive impact throughout the world through military forces. They actually don't just go there to fight. And I think you can attest to this. They go diplomatically as well. We're always sensitized through classes and courses to the culture. I'm not saying there's not bad apples. I am saying, though, there are good courses that were provided to every individual soldier, giving them the opportunity to conduct themselves with full military bearing under an oath to the Constitution, to the government, to the people, and under an oath or core values that we were taught. And those core values are still very valuable resources to rely on and conduct yourselves appropriately under. And our nation has a good foundation of that. Things are changing for not the better. And yet those core values, those oaths, the Constitution, they're all still in place. Not all is lost. And our soldiers need to have the education to know what a moral order is and an immoral order is. Because we have the right to challenge authority when an immoral order is brought down to us. They need to.
That, like you just said, not all is lost, but the chains are getting extremely tight.
Yes, sir. Yes, they are. And I know we can make a difference if we come together as a nation, as Americans, in the best interest of our nation, in positive ways, in mass numbers, and do that work that I spoke to earlier. Not just citizens, but soldiers and law enforcement, constitutional thinking people can come together from all over this nation. Regular citizens and those working for government also can too, because it's righteous, it's ethical, it speaks to the core values within the government branches, it speaks to the oath, it speaks to the Constitution, and it speaks to the Declaration. That is why all those government employees also can take a stand side by side with regular citizens. They can. They're just afraid of retribution from within. And enough of that. Stop being afraid. When there's something wrong, challenge it. Challenge it. Challenge it appropriately with military bearing or good conduct, no matter what position you hold. Challenge it.
All right. So here's the next question. And I think this is an important question. When peaceful protest stops working, i.e., Ohio State. Remember that?
Peaceful. Wait, is that again?
I heard a. Sorry, go ahead.
I needed you to repeat your question. Go ahead.
All right, so when you look at the 60s in Ohio State or whatever, but let's just look at this at a straightforward view. When peaceful protest does not do the job anymore, what is, in your opinion, the next option? Because that will come to bear. Nobody at Concord, nobody in the American Revolution, they did, there was nothing that happened in the American Revolution that was peaceful protest, except for at the beginning, maybe. So, when peaceful protest stops working and they just arrest everybody being involved in peaceful protest, what is the next option?
Well, there's several recourses of action. One is we, the people that still remain unarrested and out here, we have to apply the public pressure. I spoke to that already. That is not being done enough and in enough numbers. It's being done, but not with enough numbers, not enough to impact the change. We all know that to be true. The other thing is I would refer you all to the Declaration and Revolutionary Acts. Google those words, Revolutionary Acts. Get educated on the justifications of the actions that we, the people, would need to conduct ourselves in legally and ethically and morally, not attacking. You don't attack and bomb buildings. I'm not talking about burning things down or bombing things or innocent people and civilians. My God, I would never, ever refer to that, especially when you have a building bombed with children.
Okay, let's break. Okay, pause. Remember when Obama's buddies were bombing and breaking things in the 60s, the Weather Underground? But anyway, continue.
Yes, I do. But is that how we Americans, we the people, want to conduct ourselves right now at this time? Is that what people are?
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But, that is apparently that is the path of the opposition.
It is. And that is what we hold them accountable for. They are calling us terrorists when in fact they're projecting themselves over us. We return that information. We tell them how false their information is, and we tell them what they're doing, how they're conducting themselves. That is terroristic. That is the true definition of terrorism. Look up terrorism and tell me who fits into that category and what acts actually fit into that category. Does taking back your cattle fit into that category? Does having civil disobedience peacefully fit into the category of terrorism? Does peaceful rallies and protests separate from civil disobedience, does that fit into the category of terrorism? No, it doesn't. We know that. So what does fit into the category of terroristic acts and terroristic ideology before you commit the act? What falls into that category? A lot of the oppositional tactics do. And we
it's just, the ideology of everybody that's involved in this. I'm looking at the chat room and looking at trolls and all that kind of stuff. And, it just becomes almost hilarious in which, so many people just view this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It is. And the truth is really right out there for them. The actual documents, the declaration, and the forefathers' continued confirmation and writings that confirmed and defined the Constitution and Declaration. It's all right there at their fingertips. They are refusing to read it, to feed their own narrative, their own agenda, and to continue in their own revolutionary, illegal, and unethical practices. And it's wrong. And they don't want to believe they're wrong. They want to believe that they're righteous, that they're right, that it's okay to harm private buildings and loot in order to get their message out and message heard. And that is wrong. And that is not how we will conduct ourselves. We being we the people. We being not just the Patriot community, but anybody who sees the wrongdoings that are occurring and want to make a positive change. There's nothing terroristic about wanting to make a positive change in the right way. And it has been the only way that the people we know, currently political prisoners that are being held, have acted themselves. And they have acted with ethical and moral grounds. And they don't want to believe that. They want to shut this down. They're advocating for socialism and communism. And what they don't seem to understand is that they will slit their own throats in the end. And I mean that.
Well, yeah, definitely. You know, and as I've looked at this for the last several weeks, you know, it's like, it's not about peace and Tilly. It's not about it's about all of these guys that are in jail as political prisoners.
Yes, sir.
Including the Hammonds, which are being held down in California as political prisoners.
Skylar Barbeau up in Seattle. Yes, these are unconstitutional laws that were passed over them, and they're not even meeting the criteria or definition of the charges against them, especially when you label them terrorists. It doesn't even meet the criteria. There are specific criteria, and none of these political prisoners, none of them meet that criteria. And they're not.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I agree with you 100%.
Yep. And real terrorism criteria fall under the people who are amassing actual attacks and burning things down and looting. That is terroristic behavior. Riots like that is terroristic behavior, trying to influence in a negative and violent, aggressive way change. I'm not saying change isn't needed, but I am saying that is the wrong way to go about it.
Hey, by the way, did you see the picture today where Obama was doing a press release and his entire front row, I don't have the picture handy, but it's up on the internet. His entire front row had a Quran sitting on the seat of the entire front row.
Well, that's religious prejudice right there. I mean, one, they don't want anything to do with the Holy Bible. That's not allowed anywhere with government anymore. They say religious is separate from government and state, yet I don't see them separating it. They're picking and choosing a religion over Christianity, which our founders upheld. And that's fine. We believe in religious freedom. However, if you're going to separate religion, all religion, from state and government, then you must separate it completely. And the other thing I want to speak to you about the Quran, it is a very violent book. It is not just peaceful. It has some peaceful content, but that peaceful content is only for those that follow that book. The peacefulness is only for those that comply. It is not for outsiders. Anybody outside of the belief is to be killed violently. And they're coming up with new ways outside of the Quran and justifying it under violent Quran verses. It is incorrect. And if that's for me a form of government control under religious colors. And it's a form, and not all Muslims practice it this way, but those Muslims are in danger. For the Muslims that do not wish to further the agenda of the caliphate or the Nation of Islam, for the Muslims that wish to truly be peaceful and not follow and obey the entire Quran, there are Muslims, radical that want them dead too. Not just you or me or other Christians or Jewish. They want any non-believer, they call them all non-believers, to include their own Muslim brethren. They call them non-believers, and they believe in their violent deaths. They believe in oppression. They believe in conquering all. The caliphate is about world domination. They might as well. No wonder why Hitler has some known affiliations with Islamic persons in his own history.
Right. And anybody that needs to know this, just go Google Islam, go Google caliphate, go Google all that stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not a religion. I am for peaceful religions. I'm not a believer of other religions, but I am for those religions and religious freedom that conduct themselves constitutionally and peacefully and do not force themselves on others, do not infringe on the rights of others. If you're infringing on the rights of others and you mean to oppress them and have them obey your religious laws, then you're wrong. And it's un-American, it's unconstitutional. Sharia law does not comply, does not concede, does not work here. And it needs to be, they're promoting it though.
Yeah, and it's going to get weirder every minute of the day. All right, Mo, this has been an amazing show working with you. You are extremely poignant in all these topics, actually making me feel a little like I ain't keeping up.
No, and we all work together. All this information in my head, it comes from all my research from others. And
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you've done an amazing job. We're getting ready to run. I need to wind down the show, and so let everybody know where your Facebook is, because I get a lot of information from your Facebook and several others. Where's your Facebook and your blogs, etc.?
There's 2 accounts for Facebook. One is a personal account, and it has my dog on it. Just leave that one alone. I'm not going to that's just family. And there's another one. It's in the privacy settings are tremendously high. The other one, the public one, the one where I write, the one for all of you, is Maureen, and that's spelled Maureen, Peltier, Peltier. Another Facebook, and we're going to be up and running here really soon. I don't have an ETA just yet, but very soon, because we're all getting bogged down with everyday events. But that'll be the show called The Oath with Staff Sergeant Mo. And I also have a Facebook page now. It's called The Oath with Staff Sergeant Mo. And a YouTube channel where I'll go live myself, just as you do, in various forms and platforms. But starting with YouTube will be The Oath with Staff Sergeant Mo. So go ahead and follow along with it now, even though I'm not up and running right now. Bookmark me, and we'll be up and running on a show here as soon as we can. Right now, on the ground events are taking priority to getting my show going. But I have a team now that I brought together, and they're going to help me meet these goals while I'm still on the ground. I have a research team, a media team, and they all work for The Oath with Staff Sergeant Mo voluntarily.
All right, and if you need some airtime over here on Revolution Radio, all you have to do is let me know. We'll give you a couple hours a day or whatever you need. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This has been a very good show as far as I'm concerned. I want to thank you, Mo, for putting all this in. I could not have done this because apparently not more than apparently, you're very obviously more caught up than I am. Most of the time I've been off. I've been dealing with some other stuff for a couple of days, which I caught up with, and you're doing a great job. So I just want to thank you for coming on the air with us so we could get this all covered up.
I hope in the future when the show gets going, I'll do one of my best.
Mo, I didn't hear any of that.
I hope in the future when my show gets up and running, I'd love to have you as a guest too on my show. That would be really awesome.
Oh, I'm a bad guest.
You just talk like now.
All right, but anyway, no problem. I'll come on. But if you need any help or some airtime or whatever, our average listener base is between 300 and 500,000 listeners. If you want some space, I'll give it to you.
Anytime. I really appreciate that, especially when it's needed. So everybody wants me on this larger platform, and so yeah.
All right, that's cool. My space, my listener base isn't on YouTube. It's over on the radio station. But anyway, so you have a good night. You have a good night, Mo.
To all of you, have a good night. Thank you to everybody in the Patriot community, all Americans, constitutional. Thank you for your time. And again, listening to my soapbox. Thank you.
All right. Peace out. Good night.
All right.
All right. So there you go, folks. And the roundup is going down. They are arresting freaking everybody. It appears. I have 3 short bits to share with you. Give me a second.
Hey everybody, this is David Fry, aka Detained, talking from the Portland County Jail, and just want to tell everybody that I'm doing fine. All the guards are treating me very nice. There's a lot of guards that are actually in support of the cause, so it's pretty interesting. And I appreciate everybody's letters. I've been getting letters every day, and I just want to say thanks. A lot of encouragement, a lot of love, a lot of hope. So it's definitely helped a lot to see all those letters coming in. And believe it or not, they moved me into Pete Santelli's room the day Pete Santelli was leaving this jail cell here. I moved into his jail cell, so I didn't get the chance to talk to him. I was hoping to meet him here in Covio and talk. But they moved him to general population. And right now I'm still in this cell block area. So they got me out of isolation, but now I have more than 1 hour to walk around, which is pretty nice. And, commissary is pretty cool. I've been ordering a whole bunch of candies and stuff. That's kind of nice to be able to do that. And, I guess other than that, there's not too much going on. Just been reading a bunch of books. Believe it or not, I finished reading the whole Quran, and I suggest that everybody should at least read that, because there is a lot of lies going on TV about the Muslim faith. And so if you read it, you'll be able to protect yourself from the lies and avoid becoming a bigot. So it's best to protect yourself with the truth and know everything that's out there. Very interesting. It's a very interesting thing. It speaks highly of Christians and Jews, believe it or not. It says that they should have the time to read that. And so, you know, life is about love, not hate. You know, hate breeds war. So right now you see a lot of the media slandering, everybody's slandering people's religion. They go to Christians, they're going to the Jews, they're going to the Muslims. And they're just they're trying to start wars among each other. The more they have us fighting and bickering, we won't be able to achieve happiness, we won't be able to achieve peace. So, just keep that in mind. And I guess with that said, you know, hallelujah, praise be to Yah, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to everybody again. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Hey brothers and sisters, this is Terry Harris. It's Wednesday, March 2nd, and a few things I want to talk with you today. I want to start off with a thing that Fox put out this morning, and I want y'all to, I'll give this lady a little grief here. It's by Holly McKay, published March 2nd. And one of the captions, it had "Where's the beef" over it. I don't see it on this one, but anyway. Bundy's $1 million herd of ornery cattle giving the feds a meaty problem. Alright, and then they have a video up here of where Clive and Bundy was arrested. It has nothing to do with this part of it. Anyway, the feds have rogue rancher Clive and Bundy behind bars, but corralling his $1 million herd of ornery cattle is proving to be a much more daunting task. The 69-year-old landowner, who's 80 miles northwest of Las Vegas, was the scene of 2014 standoff with the Bureau of Land Management, was arrested last month on charges relating to the Nevada incident when he left his ranch to travel to Oregon, where his sons were involved in another standoff with federal officials. Meanwhile, his 1,000 herd of cattle are still roaming the lands, due in part to his absence and also what officials call his unconventional, if not bizarre, ranching methods. Now, I'm going to give you a quote by somebody here. "It is not just the land that is being trampled on, but the animals are hurt." And this is Annette Magnus Marquette, or Marquette, Battle-Born Progress. Rather than manage and control his cattle, he lets them run wild on public lands with little, if any, human reaction. Such time when he traps them and hauls them off to be sold or slaughtered, the court documents filed by the federal prosecutor last month. He does not treat his cattle, does not employ cowboys to control the herd for them, does not manage or control breeding, has no knowledge of where his cattle are located at any given time. Guess what, people? He don't raise meat that are a bunch of cattle in a pen getting shot up with steroids and antibiotics. He raises real cattle. Okay? They're trying to make these guys look like terrorists when they're great people. Although federal authorities backed off in the 2014 standoff, the FBI monitored Bundy's movements and nabbed him at the Portland International Airport on February 10th as he attempted to travel to Burns, Oregon to join his sons and others at the Mueller National Wildlife Refuge. Okay, his sons were already in jail, people. Idiot reporters, okay? He was charged with crimes related to the Nevada standoff, including assault with a deadly weapon on a federal officer. When did he assault a federal officer with a deadly weapon? Show me the report on that, Fox. Conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and other counts. He is being held without bail. With Bundy in prison, his cows are left to fend for themselves year-round, fighting off predators and scourging the meager amounts of food, water, according to federal prosecutor according to federal prosecutors. In addition, the authorities maintain that surviving cattle are wild, mean, and ornery, and are destroying fragile plant species and even destroying the sacred Indian artifacts. These people are nuts. All right, these people are absolute nuts. And do you see what Fox? I've been asked about a Fox interview at one time, and I said no, because I know what y'all do. Now you see what they do? You see how they're making the Bundys look like just terrorists and stuff when they have free roam cattle? Yeah. And they're still getting watered because he's oh gosh, y'all watch any of Bundy's videos of Cliven Bundy, and he'll show you around. He'll show you what he does for the property. It's a sad day in America, y'all. Mr. Bundy's cattle continue to be in trespass, BLM spokesman Jeff Krause told FoxNews.com in a statement. There are no plans to gather at this time as we continue to cooperate with the Department of Justice on this ongoing legal matter. State and federal officials are trying to figure out what to do with the unruly herd. Oh man. Flint Wright, animal industry administrator at the Nevada Department of Agriculture, said problems have been ongoing many years and will only continue to worsen if action is not taken. It is sad. And they'll probably come and try to take Bundy's cattle again because he's in jail. Boy, I hope Mel's there. This is what, I used to look to Fox News at times, and at times they do have good stories. And then when I saw neither Hannity nor Gutfield or anybody on the mainstream Fox News ever said one single good word about the Oregon standoff, and the only person was Lou Dobbs, which, that's actually a totally different show. He's the political guy and stuff. So other than Lou Dobbs, Fox just lied and lied about the Oregon standoff situation. And Hannity and Gutfield, people who usually dig into patriotic causes, should be absolutely ashamed. I'm ashamed of them. I hope America is ashamed of them on what they've been doing, both during and after the Oregon standoff, and their silence during. God bless y'all. Y'all take care. I wanted to bring this out to your view. I'm not even going to put the thing on my page because it's a bunch of lies. But God bless y'all. I wanted to tell you what I thought about Fox's thing. And y'all, let me go back to the top here. Y'all all make sure to get a hold of Miss Holly McKay and let her know what y'all think about her report on Fox News about the Bundy Ranch and everything. God bless. Y'all take care. This is Terry Harris with, I just try to bring you the truth. Terry Harris on Facebook, Terry Lee on YouTube. God bless.
Some updates and new information in connection with the Oregon standoff. Now, they were hinting that they were going to be dropping another indictment with more defendants, and anyone that was involved in the Bundy Ranch or the mine operations or the Oregon standoff. Everyone was kind of on edge, wondering, they're going to try to come after me next. And people have just been kind of sitting back waiting to see if they've made moves or when they're going to make moves and go after anyone else. Well, today they've taken down Davy Bundy as well as Jerry Delamus that you see here. They say they took him into custody in New Hampshire. They stormed into his condo at gunpoint and took him out of there. They say that he previously made trips to Nevada as part of the whole Bundy Ranch standoff, and he also went to Oregon. Now, he faces 9 federal charges, including conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States, threatening a federal law enforcement officer, obstruction of justice, attempting to impede or injure a federal law enforcement officer, and several firearms charges, they say, from when he was at the Bundy Ranch. Now, according to this indictment, they're saying that he was a mid-level leader and organizer of all this. Among other things, he recruited, he organized, he trained, he provided logistical support to gunmen and other followers. That's how they're writing it. And he led the armed patrols at security checkpoints. So anyone else that did this can expect they're probably going to come with the same charges. All the guys that had weapons drawn on officers down there, we talked about this before. I expected them to be some of the first, but this man is, what they say here on this link, he is also the co-chairman for Veterans for Donald Trump in New Hampshire. Now, Jack Kimball, a former state GOP chairman and Tea Party leader, wrote on social media that they had forced their way in there with weapons drawn, and they've taken down a good patriotic veteran, former Marine. And he's also calling for other true patriots to stand up because basically the purge is on. So many seeing this move of this man in particular being taken down at this point, a sign that moves are underway. And here at any point in time, anyone that was connected to this could be on their radar. So it's a heads up to folks out there, because I know some people went to these events just as reporters, but they're really trying to peg these individuals on their actions, on what they did while they were at these places. And we're just going to have to sit back and see what happens from here. Also, when there's other people involved in this that have done the same thing and they kind of just slip away into the shadows, and you have all these men get taken down on charges and others just never face them, you better be hip to what's going on. Now, in regards to Pete Santilli, regardless of how you feel about him, it's important to note that with his case, it's probably going to be going to the jury for them to decide. And the reason being is because of the whole debate here on free speech. And it's critical here because, he has a right, everyone has the right to talk about whatever, whenever, however, as long as you're not trying to incite an immediate threat. The prosecutors saying that he went beyond his right of free speech when he was inciting violence. And they use different clips here as examples, but they're using all of his words against him. And, they're not saying that he said, oh, you got to shoot and kill these people. Other guys did say that, and they're going to get burned on saying that. But for anyone that says, look, this is what's going on in reporting on it, there's a fine line there. Basically, they talk about that here too. They say that there was times where he reported unbiased, and then there was other times that he was obviously attached to the whole group, keeping secrets, taking commands, giving orders, and all this other stuff. And I said it the whole time. That's where he messed up, big time. And he needed to stay unbiased and separated from it as a true journalist. And he operated more as a spokesman for them. Proudly so, he did. And that right there is in him taking on the 3%er patch and all this other stuff. He went beyond what they were seeing as a journalist, especially when he was calling for people to come across the country to this event. Many people calling for people to show up armed in this event, like Blaine Cooper did, and many others. Okay, but they also bring up gun charges on multiple individuals going back to the Bundy Ranch, and make mention of a rock that was the threat of throwing a rock at officers. So they have different avenues and a slew more of charges they're trying to hit him with. He potentially faces $1.5 million in fines and over 100 years in prison, and more charges coming. But in terms of using his words here, it has to be done the right way and not used and turned against the people to where they say, oh, you can't say this and you can't say that. No. If he made a threat or anyone else makes a threat, and I said this before, if you're calling for people to take up arms and go kill federal agents, what do you expect? You saying that right there is going to be their ammunition to burn you. Now, unless they have audio of him saying that, well, then they don't. He can criticize, he can talk, all of you can. You can give your opinion freely. And some are saying, well, so you think at this point, but you have to think about what you're saying and doing and the position you're putting yourself in. Like I said before, it's in my own opinion that if he would have remained unbiased and a neutral ground there, as a journalist truly should be, then he wouldn't be in this situation. Wouldn't have been deceived by many of the people that was a part of this. But it goes on and on and on down the rabbit hole. And they're saying that it's going to have to go to a jury for them to look at all the evidence and for them to make the decision in regards to this. So they said they were going to let him out. Others, prosecutors said, no, keeping him. We've got more charges coming. And that's where it sits at this point. But you have to be very careful of how this whole thing shakes out, because it come down to where they try to charge him and make it to where you can't even give your opinion on something. Talking about Nazi. Okay, regardless of if you like Pete or not. This comes down to what's going to happen in the bigger picture here. So, they've made moves. Can only help but think at this point, all the guys that have been taken down, that have been in jail now for weeks, have been doing a lot of talking. And all the other people that was connected to this all the way back, they've got the names and all this of all of them. And they've probably been tracking them through their phones, through social media, where they work, all that, and calling up their local branches and like, hey, it's time to take this person down. So it's begun. Taking down this man here shows that they're going after other people, and he's just one of many that was involved here. And that was the warning from the top of this whole honeypot, this trap to draw in true patriots, because you may start to see the true patriots start to drop now. Okay? This truly is a time where people need to stand together. You need not let them come pick you off one by one, but you have to be smart about what you do in your moves, in your actions. And when they're trying to use your words against you, you have to remember you're going to have to stand behind every single thing that you say. So, walk in righteousness. You will attract others. I'll leave a link. I'll update with more. Tune in to Real Talk Live this Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Dabu 777. You can also catch it embedded on undergroundworldnews.com/live feeds, as well as all the other live events. And there's also a music player embedded there now for people to check out, and there will be a video dropped here on an awakening song here for people here very soon. Keep an eye out for that, because they don't want it with us.